And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'm back with another installment of the tier list series. So today we're going to be ranking the top power forwards in NBA 2K21, my team as of today, so current. Alright, before we get started, let's do parameters. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. No matter what your playstyle is, what game modes you play, etc., these cards are obviously going to be top of the entire tier list. A tier, 4 or 5 tool guys. Really good cards, just not quite as good as the S tier guys. So if you have any of these guys, you're not really missing out too much with the S tier guys, but they are a little bit worse, obviously. B tier guys. Guys who do 3 or 4 things really well. Very bang average, very good cards that are usable. Budget guys. Cards that used to be elite that aren't so elite anymore, etc. C tier, specialist guys, they do 2 or 3 things really well, or 2 or 3 game modes really well. D tier, really specialist guys, they do 1 or 2 things really well, but for the most part, unless you are one of those people who are incredibly good with said card or have said card like badged out to the max, chances are you can do better going with any of the C or above guys. And then F tier guys that, yes, there will be people who really like the cards and will be really good with them, but for the most part, for the majority of players, you're gonna do better to upgrade from those cards. So, a couple things before we get started. We're doing power forwards today, but only the power forwards that are primary position power forwards. So, a lot of the guys that are coming out now are center / power forwards. You're not going to see a whole lot of the guys like Dirk or anything like that. That'll be on the next center list that I'll be dropping tomorrow. So, without further ado, let's get started. I will be ranking them in each tier as well, just to give a little bit more insight. Right off the bat, we got Pink Diamond Stodominer. I would put him in F tier. The reason being, he's just outdated. I'm a big Amari Stoudemire fan, but this card's just not very good. The Stoudemire base on normal isn't very good, in my opinion, at least this year. He just lacks a lot of badges. He's not a great ball handler either. He doesn't play any defense. He doesn't rebound too well. And he's a pink diamond, so he's going to hurt you in the overall department as well. For the most part, there's just many cheaper and better options in this card. And if you have this card, you'd be better off probably just selling him and grabbing one of those cheaper options, because he's still going for around like 20k. Next up, we got Karolinko. Karolinko's still B tier in my opinion. Possibly lower B tier, but even not badged up, I think he's better than a lot of cards. And the fact that you can get badged up versions of this card for like 20k is huge. Also, he's just really that good. He does a little bit of everything. Granted, he doesn't do anything incredibly well anymore at this point, but he still does a little bit of everything. He can ball handle, he can do everything, man. I love this card. Plus, he's got base 98, which it's not on quick, so online it's really not that hard to time. Once you get into base 98 quick guys, like using the meter on online, it becomes impossible to like time for him, but Andre Karolinko's not at that point yet, so his jump shot's pretty easy to time online even with the meter on. That being said, I am trying to rank cards, not fully badged up, because it doesn't really make sense to be like, okay, this card's great badged up. Every card's great badged up for the most part. So Andre Karolinko, just normal. Granted, yes, you can find him with a lot of badges attached for the most part, because a lot of people are abandoning him because they've been using him for a while. Especially for someone just starting out, this guy's definitely a B tier card. Instantaneously makes your team better. Austin Crocier. Crocier's really good, but I would put him like top of C tier as of right now. He's a great card, great shooter, very similar to Scalabrini. It depends how the rankings shake up. He even might move into B tier. I love this card. He has a couple of disadvantages. He's not a great dribbler. He's not incredible with the size. He's about the same size as Karolinko, but Karolinko's significantly more athletic and a better defender, which is why I would say Karolinko would be a better card. Ben Simmons. I don't think Ben Simmons is necessarily F tier, and the reason I have Amari down there and Ben Simmons up in D is because Ben Simmons is still a good card. Like, he can run the point forward very well, whereas Amari cannot. He dunks just as hard as Amari. Amari's a better mid-range shooter. 3-point wise, yeah, he's better. It's still not good. But Ben Simmons is a lockdown defender. He's a better ball handler, better passer. The only thing he can't do is shoot, which is why he's down in D tier. I just think he's better for people than Amari Stoudemire. Bobby Jones. I like Bobby Jones a lot, but he's very similar to Andre Karolinko. but he's a worse offensive player, and defensively it's not that far off. He might actually move. I'm going to move him to B tier because I really like Bobby Jones, but he's probably the first person to get kicked out of B at this point, but he's great. Blake Griffin, I would probably put Blake in C tier. I think he's better than Ben Simmons, but he's worse than Crocier. He's better in some aspects than Crocier, but I think Crocier overall is better, especially for the price tag. Chris Webber, I think Chris Webber's A tier. I don't think he's S tier anymore, but he's still a 5-tool guy. He's just not quite as good as the guys in F tier. Quite as good as the guys in S tier at this point, but if you locked in for this card, he's still incredibly usable to this day, and his jump shot's not as bad as people say. I like it. Bob Pettit, I would probably put Bob Pettit in C tier. Personally, I like Crocier, but I think Bob Pettit overall is kind of a better card just because he's a better interior presence and a better rebounder. Shooting-wise, though, I don't know. It's a toss-up. I like Crocier more, so I'm going to put him ahead of Bob Pettit in C tier. But he's a good spot-up jump shooter. If you're looking for like a, I guess he's not really a defensive presence, but a spot-up shooting big man, Bob Pettit's a good call. Scalabrini probably deserves to go right here too, but I think Crocier is a little bit better than Scalabrini. It just depends on which one you prefer as far as like jump shot base. I think Crocier is better. Some people like Scalabrini's base a little bit more. Byron Beck, I would say Byron Beck's just kind of worse Bobby Jones. Like that's the best way I can describe him. Like he plays airtight defense, but he's not very good offensively, and he does lack a couple badges. Yes, if he's badged up, I would put him B tier. Just like if Karolinko is badged up, you can make a case he's borderline A tier if he's like fully badged up. Same with Bobby Jones, but I think where they are from the beginning, like where they are when you get the cards, Byron Beck probably sits in C tier. Danilo Gallinari's B tier, though he's actually really, really good. I like this card a lot. He's good offensively. He's really good offensively. He has a really easy to time jump shot. He's surprisingly like sneaky good defensively. You don't think a Gallinari card's going to be good defensively, but he is. And that's actually quite surprising. Now, I will give Byron Beck points because he does have a lot of badges you can give him that make him a lot better. And the jump shot 40 is actually pretty solid. That's Jeremy Lin's release, but I don't know, man. I think Danilo and Bobby Jones are just better versions of him. You can argue Byron Beck, but Danilo's wet, man. He has a really interesting jump shot base. He has that Danilo base. He's the only person that has it, but it's on quick, and it's very easy to green, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more cards follow suit and have the same jumper he does. He's got a great badge count. No steady, great Hoff badges. He even got some good defensive badges. I would probably put him ahead of Bobby Jones. I still like Karolinko a little bit more, but Danilo's good. Dan Issel. Dan Issel plays really good defense. He's hard to really root against. I think he's probably the best card in C tier. Like I said, Bobby Jones is probably going to get moved down. It just kind of depends who comes in there. Carmelo Anthony is probably the best card in B tier. He is possibly going to move up to A. It just depends how the list shakes out. Everything I said about Karolinko goes double for Melo. The only thing that keeps him out of A tier for me is that he cannot shoot from the corners in current gen. In next gen, he's A tier, but in current gen, he's probably B tier. Dave Bushier. Man, this one's tough. I actually really like Dave Bushier. Dave Bushier is good, dude. He's a little bit small, I will say that. Like, that's kind of the only thing that's keeping me from, like, putting him too high, because he's only 6'6", with a 6'9" wingspan. He's got 31 golds, 18 hoffs. Like, he's got good stats. 86.3 isn't ideal. 88 speed isn't either. But he's a lights-out defender. Like, he's way better defensively than Bobby Jones is. And he comes standard with some okay shooting badges. I'd probably put him right next to Bobby Jones. Honestly, like, I would. He's that good defensively, and he attacks the rim pretty well. He's got great defensive tendencies as well. Yeah, because that 100 pass intercept, the 97 on-ball steal, 97 contest, 92 block that's nasty. I'd probably say he's better than Bobby Jones. But, like I said, that lack of size definitely could get him moved down to C. Rodman. Rodman's probably the best card in D tier. In my opinion, he's excellent defensively. He's one of the best defensive big men in the game. But his offense is just so bad. Like, that's the only issue. It's like Ben Simmons, sort of. Rodman can shoot a little bit, but at the same time, ball handling wise, not great. He doesn't have great size. He might move up to C tier. It just kind of depends. Dirk. I'd probably put Dirk down in D. He's just slow. He shoots really well, though. But some people love Dirk's old jump shot. I like it personally. I know other people hate it. So it's not a card that I recommend, like, newer players go grab because it's a weird jumper. Draymond. Draymond's just outdated. Like, he really is. He would be D tier. I don't think he's any higher than that. I think he's the best card in D tier. I personally would take Rodman over Dirk Nowitzki, personally. I might move Blake Griffin down at some point. This is an obvious S tier. Like, Zion's ridiculous, man. He's Shaq thick, point guard fast. Like, Tracy McGrady dunks. Like, dude is ridiculous. Like, he is a 5-tool card if there ever is one. I'd be willing to say he's the best card in the entire game. Plus, he has the same jump shot as Danny Granger, which is the easiest time jump shot in the entire game. I like Danny Granger's upper just a little bit more. I think it's the same. I don't know why I think Danny Granger... It just looks better coming out of Danny Granger. I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure, but... Yeah, he has Glenn Robinson's upper, and Danny Granger still has the easiest time jump shot in the game, but I will say Zion's right there. Like, that base 29 on quick is ridiculous, man. Aaron Gordon. I still think Aaron Gordon's like low-end B tier. I don't particularly like this card too much, and he'll probably get moved down before anyone, but like at the end of the day, he's relatively solid. He dunks pretty hard. He does lack shooting badges. The bronze range that can't be upgraded is like a huge... Yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to put him down in C. I forgot about that. You can't even boost his range, which is terrible. I hate this John Collins card. Fight me. I mean, he's better than Stodominer, but I don't like him at all. Larry Nance. I personally put Larry Nance ahead of Aaron Gordon, but from personal playstyle, Crocier and Brian Scalabrine are just all around better than Larry Nance. He's just a little outdated. Elton Brand. I don't think he's in F tier, but he's not great. He'd be like D tier. Sidney Wicks, I would put up in B. I'd put him ahead of Bushier and Bobby Jones as like a better version of those guys. Huge wingspan, can get a bunch of those shooting badges that work out really well. I actually like this card a lot. Let's get a sick afro. Larry Bird's still B tier. I don't really like this card. I like Sidney Wicks more personally, but offensively, Larry Bird is obviously better. He does miss a lot of whites though, like that I've noticed. I don't know what it is. I think it's because he has that rainbow style jump shot. He misses an incredible amount of whites. Byron Beck is better than Aaron Gordon and Larry Nance, by the way. I'm going to throw that up there. Millsap. I actually like Millsap. I would rather drop Elton Brand than Millsap. Millsap's really good. He was one of my favorite cards when he came out. I like him better than Ben Simmons, personally. Serge Ibaka's still solid enough. He does just enough to be put into probably C tier, I think. And no, he's probably D. He's just a little bit slow. He doesn't have those jump shot badges. Like, Draymond's a better shooter than him. Serge Ibaka's alright. Elvin Hayes sucks, dude. No way. Thurl Bailey's like one of the top C tier guys. I'm tempted to put him into B tier, but I am about to drop Bobby Jones, probably. So, McGinnis is good, though. I like McGinnis. He moves really well. He has Joe Ingles base. He's a good shooter. All in all, just a really good card. Tatum's still good enough to be in B tier, but I don't like him. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just don't. His jump shot's kind of slow. I've never been a big Tatum fan, but objectively he's better than majority of the guys in C tier. Jerry Lucas, I'd probably put him down here by Bob Pettit. I don't really like this card too much. They're pretty similar. I think Bob Pettit's a better version, but Jerry Lucas probably deserves to be around here. I'm waiting on Giannis. He's B tier. Low end B tier, but he's B tier. I like him better than these guys, though. Yeah, I like him better than Jason Tatum. Yee's really good. He bricks a lot of whites as well, but he's 7 feet tall, can run point center. You can give him good defensive badges. He plays okay defense on his own. He rebounds pretty well. He's a beast in the post, actually. He has great post badges, and he has this really awesome post hook animation that I really enjoy. And not many cards are tall enough to really contest it, so that's got to count for something. Sean Kemp, also B tier. Very, very good. If you liked the Amethyst Sean Kemp from earlier, you're going to like this card a lot. That being said, like, this Sean Kemp is probably C tier. I'll keep him around Blake Griffin because they're pretty similar cards. So I haven't ranked Giannis yet because he's a little tough. I would say this Giannis is probably B tier. He's still really, really, really good. I'm debating on between putting these Giannis's in B or A tier. That's kind of where I'm at right now. That's why I haven't ranked him. All right, let's do Josh Smith, get him out of the way. Josh Smith is still good enough to be C tier, but he is outdated. Pink Diamond, Anthony Davis. I would say he's still C tier. He's got Anthony Davis animations. Anthony Davis's jump shot is pretty solid. There's a diamond around here. Karl Malone, F tier. Don't care. He's probably D or C. Doesn't matter. It's Karl Malone. I'm not giving him any higher. Julius Randle. He's C tier, actually. I would probably put Anthony Davis ahead of Larry Nance and Aaron Gordon. Probably put Sean Kemp up here, too. I like Sean Kemp a lot. Julius Randle, I would put, honestly, ahead of Byron Beck. I actually like this Julius Randle card a lot. Surprisingly, because I'm not a huge Julius Randle fan in real life. Probably because I have Knicks fan friends, and they're just delusional about Julius Randle's abilities. Juwan Howard, I would put right down by Josh Smith as like kind of my least favorite cards in C tier. Same with Larry Nance. I'd put them all like right down here. They're all pretty similar. Aaron Gordon, like just they do a couple things pretty well, but for the most part, the guys ahead of them do a little bit more. Like Thurl Bailey is the apex version of all of these guys. These little like point center guys that dunk really hard. Thurl Bailey's the best version of them. I think Blake Griffin is still B tier. Very, very low B tier, but B tier nonetheless. Like, I will take him over Tatum, for sure. I'll take him over Kemp, too. I don't care what anyone says. Kemp plays better defense, but I like Blake Griffin. Maybe that's biased. Who knows? Kevin Durant is S tier. I don't like it, but it's true. Let me look at the rest of my cards and see what's up here. Yeah, I don't know, man. Giannis is tough. I'd probably say this Giannis is A tier. He shoots a little bit better. You still can't give him some of those shooting badges, though. But just badge count and defensively, he does everything but shoot threes at a high clip and have range. But at the same time, like, he can hit wide open corner threes, no problem. Like, he has good badges. Off difficult shots, he has gold catch and shoot, gold corner. You can give him volume shooter, which would help him a lot. Other than that, he's excellent defensively. He's immaculate at attacking the rim. 25 Hoffs, 31 golds. I mean, he has great badges. He's not that much better than the retro one as far as I'm concerned. He is better, but I know I'm going to get slandered if I put them in two different tiers, but I would probably put retro at the very top of B tier. Yes, I'm fully aware Ty Debo used him in the 250K tournament. Do I think that a new player grabbing this Giannis is going to have the same type of success? No. And the other reason he's not higher is because he plays better at center, in my opinion. And maybe they'll both be in A tier once I shake this list out. But for now, I'm just going to throw them down here because this one's obviously better. It's not that much better, but it's better. Kenyon Martin would be B tier as well. I would put him somewhere around Sidney Wicks. I don't know if he's necessarily better or worse, so I put him right next to him. This Zion is obviously S tier. They're basically the same card. This one has a couple more badges than this Zion, so I had to keep it different, but I don't think they're very much different at all. Kevin Durant's probably still C tier. I would put him somewhere around like Anthony Davis. He's still really, really good defensively. Just wish he could shoot a little bit better. Kyle Anderson is nice. Like, Kyle Anderson is better than Julius Randle. Fight me. He's great. Antoine Jameson, I would throw him right ahead of Danilo Gallinari. I actually like this card a lot. You could argue Danilo's better, maybe Larry Bird or something like that. I'll take Bird over Kenyon Martin, actually. But, yeah. Lamar Odom, I think Lamar Odom's actually A tier. He kind of got forgotten about because we've gotten so many good cards, but Lamar Odom's still really, really good. He's great defensively. He can shoot the lights out. He's got a really good Paul George base coming off a lefty shot, which is really interesting. It's kind of hard to time it, but at the same time, like, he does everything well. He does need flexible. That's like one badge he definitely needs, but it's not very expensive to equip to him, and I'm not going to dock him into B tier because he doesn't have flexible. Like, Giannis is great at 4 of the 5 things that I really look at. This Giannis, on the other hand, I don't know. Personally, I like Lamar Odom more, but I can say objectively the Opal Giannis is a little bit better. LaFonso Ellis, he's the best card in D tier, but he's D tier. I personally would take him over like Josh Smith, Larry Nance, and Aaron Gordon, but I can admit that these guys are better cards, you know? Al Harrington, I think Al Harrington's good, actually. I'd put him like right over here. He's actually really solid. He doesn't have range and stuff, but he has a nice jump shot. He's actually got good badges. He rebounds very well. LeBron. I don't like that he's in S tier. I don't like LeBron on current gen. I really don't, but it's hard to argue against an Opal LeBron with near 90 every stat. Mo Spates. I'm going to go ahead and put Mo Spates in D tier because he's very similar to Serge Ibaka and drop Elton Brand down. I actually like Elton Brand, so I'm going to throw him over here. But objectively, it just makes sense. Mo Lucas. I actually like Mo Lucas a lot, but he's still like C tier. I'd put him like right next to Dan Issel. Still very good defensively. He can shoot the mid-range. He just can't shoot the 3 very well. Same problems I have with retro Giannis. Paul George. As a power forward, I don't think that Paul George is S tier. Like, I don't. Like, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Zion, they can all play the power forward at an S tier level. I just think Paul George is obviously an incredible small forward. I just don't know how good he is as a power forward. Like, Lamar Odom plays power forward just fine. That being said, Paul George is the best card in A tier. And for certain people, he's better than probably Durant and LeBron. I don't think there's any case you can make he's better than Zion because Zion's ridiculous. But Paul George is really good, but at the same time, I don't think he's S tier, personally. Rudy Tamanovich. Rudy Tamanovich is actually really good. I'd put him over like Kenyon Martin. Like, he's solid. He is super duper solid. I'm going to drop Bobby Jones, probably. I love this card, but he deserves to be right next to Thurl Bailey. Same with Bushier. That being said, I love those cards. Sekudemboya, I would put him in C tier. I would put him like above Anthony Davis, to be honest. I put him above Byron. No. I actually like this Seku card a lot. I'm not crazy. He is really good. Terry Cummings. I don't like this card. If you like this card, I'm sorry. You could... Yeah, he deserves to be right over here with like Juwan Howard and Josh Smith, Larry Nance, Aaron Gordon. Like, middle of the pack. Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan can rebound, but he's slow. He's got a slow jump shot. He doesn't even have gold range. Granted, most of them that you pick up probably do at this point. I just don't like this card at all. I'm going to drop Jerry Lucas, too, because I kind of hate him. Bob Pettit's still fire, though. I don't care. Tom Chambers. I'll probably put Tom Chambers in D tier. He's not F. Like, he's still pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and put Jerry Lucas, like, over here, and, like, Tom Chambers, like, right here. Nah, I like Dennis Rodman more than Tom Chambers. There. That's a more appropriate ranking. LaFonso Ellis, I'll probably put right in front of Dirk. Yeah, that seems better. All right. And then Zion. Zion's still B tier. I don't really like Zion very much, but at the same time, like, I understand that this card is still over 100k for a reason. Zion's still really good, and for some people, he might actually be the best card in B tier. Especially if he's fully badged out, he's probably still A tier realistically. But if you go and buy one right now, he's probably a B tier guy, similar to Karolinko, like a once elite card that is now just a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say outdated, but kind of outdated, yeah. That being said, like, Andre Karolinko is really just that good still, and so is Zion. I don't want to put him at the bottom here. I'd probably put him still ahead of, like, Kenyon Martin. I just don't like Kenyon Martin right now. Yeah, I'd probably put him, like, over here. Personally, you could argue he's higher. But, anyways, let me know what you think down below of the list. Power forwards are a tough group to rank just because they... I don't know. They're just very splintered on how good they are, and a pretty weak position at that. As always, I'll be dropping the center tier list tomorrow. Hopefully that one goes over better. I'm not really too hyped on this power forward one, to be honest with you. I don't know if I did a good job on this list. Power forward position was tough for me. But comment down below what you agree with, what you don't agree with, etc. Don't be mean about it, alright? Anyways, check the description for all my stuff. I'm going to be dropping another market video. If you haven't already, checked out my pack opening for this morning. It's, didn't really have too great of a time there, but check it out anyway. Come have fun. I will be streaming this week. I'll be back up on the streaming schedule and stuff. We'll have a new episode of the podcast out, and I'll be dropping a lot more content this week. Had to take the weekend off for some stuff, so either way, as always, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes signing off, man. Have a good day.